Hi beauties, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and do not forget to subscribe because baby, you're gonna love it here. You're going to love it here. I guarantee you, you're going to love it here. So as you can tell by the setup, we are going to have another cooking segment. And this is going to be a little different for me. I've never made this before. So this is going to be different, but I have confidence in myself that I can do this. I really believe I can do this. But we're going to see. We're going to see how this turns out. So today on the menu, we will be making egusi soup with fufu. And I hope I'm pronouncing egusi correct. Egusi soup with fufu. But anyone who knows me knows that I love African food. And I mean, we're pretty much like family. We're, you know, like in a club, we all fam type of stuff, you know, so, and we cook pretty similar. I've seen African dishes and they remind me a lot of Haitian dishes. So yeah, I could do this. I could do this. You believe in me? I believe in me too. So let's get started. All right, so for the ingredients, I will be using spinach. I did get 2 bags of spinach. And I know normally I do see when people make this type of meal, they use, I believe it's an agusi leaf, but I couldn't find those. But I was told that you can always, you know, you can use regular spinach. So we're gonna use this. We're gonna use this spinach. I am also going to be using some crayfish in the egusi soup. The next thing that I will be using is this ground agusi. You can make it from scratch where you blend it, but this works just the same from what I was told. So I will be using this for the agusi. I will also be using this oil. This is the oil that is used for the agusi. And I did want some type of fish in it, so I am going to be using this. This is stockfish, so I'll be using this as well. For the meat, I will be using some goat meat, and I will also be using some of this. I believe this is what is this? The guy told me, but I forget. I believe this is the pig intestine or something of that nature. If you remember the name, I cannot remember the name. Leave it in the comment section, but I will be using this as well. And I used to eat this. My mom used to make some type of Haitian dish when I was younger, and she would add this in the dish. And I cannot recall what dish it was, but I did eat this growing up. So yeah, so these are the 2 meats that I will be using. So I do have to clean them and prep them. Okay, so I will also be making a pepper blend. So for the pepper blend, I will be using red onions. I will also be using Scotch bonnet pepper. I was looking for the red Scotch bonnet pepper, but they did not have it. So this is just gonna have to work. And then I do have the red bell peppers. And I was also looking for some red chili. They did not have that either. The only thing they had were, what was it? It was the green ones, but I wanted the red ones. They didn't have the red ones, so I left it. So this is what I will be using for the pepper mix. And then the last thing will be this. This is the pounded yam. You can make this from scratch, but this works just as fine. At least from what I've seen, this works. So I will be using this. And I did get all of this from my nearest African market. I wanted everything to be as traditional as possible. So this is all I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the meat and start prepping to make this delicious meal. All right, so I'm done with the cleaning process for the meat. So off camera, I did clean the meat. I used I use vinegar, lime, and salt. I soaked it in the vinegar with the salt, and then I used the lime to wash the meat, each piece. And once that was done, I rinsed it with water, and I did boil some water so I can pour it over the meat. And the reason I do that is because goat meat, it is a meat that you cannot be lazy when it comes to the cleaning process, because goat meat has a very strong smell. And if you do not clean it properly, it will not be very appetizing when you're eating it. So I love goat meat, but this is not a meat that you can be lazy and not clean properly. All right, so I am done. It has soaked in the warm water for a few seconds. So I'm about to remove it from the water, and I will begin the seasoning process. So once again, soaked it in vinegar, lime, and salt. Rubbed it down with the lime, each piece. I took each piece, rubbed it down, cleaned it. And then after that, I turned on the water, I rinsed the meat, and then once I rinsed it, I took the boiling water and I poured it in here. And now I am going to remove the water. Okay, so let me show you. All right, so I removed the water, and I'm just gonna rinse it one more time. So this meat, it is clean to perfection. It is very clean. And I do this with every meat that I make. I always clean them the same exact way. All right, so now I'm getting ready to season the meat. So we're going to start with my épices, which is a blended veggie spice. All right, and now I am adding some of this, some of the Maggi. All right, next I'll be adding some onion powder. Black pepper. Garlic salt. And I will be adding a little salt. Okay, so this is how the meat look once I have seasoned it, and it smells delicious. All right, so now I have this on the stove, and I do have the temperature on low. I'm going to cover this up and let it slow cook for about 20 minutes. I'm not adding water at this point. I'm just gonna cover it with no water on 20 minutes. Doing that will allow the season to distribute properly in the meat. So once again, I'm going to cover this for 20 minutes, no water. And after the 20 minutes, I will come back, and then I will add the water to allow the meat to cook properly for 3 hours. Again, this is goat meat, and goat meat does take a while to cook. But for the first 20 minutes, I will not add any water. And I almost forgot to add my lime juice. I do love to add lime juice whenever I clean my meat, I do add lime juice. And this just gives it a really good flavor. Okay, and I will also add 2 Scotch bonnet pepper for some heat. Okay, so it has been 20 minutes. Oops. All right, so it has been 20 minutes and now I am going to pour some water in here. Okay, so I did pour a cup of water. I'm just gonna pour a little bit more just to cover the meat. All right, so this is enough. You don't want to put too much water to where it takes a lot of the seasoning away. So just want to cover, excuse me, just want to put enough water just to cover the top of the meat. Okay, so I am going to leave this on medium low and let it cook for about 3 hours. And of course, I'll come back and forth maybe every 30 minutes just to kind of see if it needs more water. If it requires more water, I will add more until it is finally cooked all the way. So yeah, so we are done for this part. And I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up. Once again, it will be cooking for about 3 hours. Once again, it is on medium low. And you do wanna check it every so often. You do not wanna leave it uncovered, unattended for 3 hours because it may be a disaster where all the water is gone and it is burnt. We do not want that. So be sure to check on your meat every so often so you can add more water if needed. So I did go ahead and cut up the veggies. I also washed them and I'm going to transfer everything into the blender so I can prepare my pepper mix, pepper blend, whichever you call it. I'm gonna go ahead and blend everything up. Okay, and I am done with the pepper blend. All right, so this is how the pepper blend looks. And I did not add anything in here, just the veggies. No seasonings, no nothing. And it smells good. So I'm just gonna set this to the side. So in here is the stockfish. It is salty and it does need to be cooked prior. So I'm just going to remove the salt and also allow it to cook. So I may repeat this about, I want to say maybe 3 times. The second I'll taste it to see how much salt has been removed. If I need to cook it a little bit longer, then I'll put fresh water in here and allow it to boil some more so it can cook and also remove some of the salt because it is pretty salty. It's been 2 hours and the meat is all done. All right, so this is the meat. It is done cooking. It did boil. It did cook for about 3 hours. Normally, this process, you would fry the meat, but I don't want to fry it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop them in the oven. All right, so this is the meat, and I just removed it from the oven. I did leave it on broil, and I let each side get like a nice golden color. And there you have it. Again, you can either, some people grill this and others, I believe, fry it. But I didn't want to fry it and I couldn't grill it. So I ended up just putting it in the oven, which it looks the same way. So yeah, this is how it's looking. So this is the remaining broth from the meat boiling. So I'm just gonna place it to the side because I will need it in a few. All right, so my fan automatically came on its own and it's not going to shut off by itself anytime soon. So hopefully you guys can hear me well. But this is the fish. I did let it boil for about 30 to 40 minutes and is now prepared. So I am going to remove it from the water and place it to the side. All right, so I'm getting ready to add the oil in here. All right, so now I will be adding the onions. All right, so I did let the onion fry for about a minute or two. So now I'm getting ready to add the agusi in here. Okay, so this is the already prepared agusi. I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in here. And I do currently have the stove on medium low. And I do have another agusi, so I'm just gonna add some more in here. Okay, so I add both of the agusi in here. And now I'm just going to cover it up for a few minutes. And it is currently on low. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it up. All right, so it has been a few minutes. Okay, so now I am adding the pepper blend. Okay, so I'm adding the fish. All right, so I did change the pot. I needed something a little bit bigger. And now I will be adding the crayfish. Okay, so I did add the crayfish in here. Now I will be adding my meat. All right, so I did taste it and it does require a little bit more seasoning. So I'm just gonna add some Maggi in here. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more salt as well. So I'm going to cover this on low for about 5 minutes, and then I'll be back and add the broth in here. It's been about 15 minutes, so now I'm going to add the broth in here. This is the broth that I use to cook and boil the meat. Okay, and I do want a little bit more water in here because I am going to cover this and let it cook down on low for about 30 minutes. And I don't want it to be watery, but I don't want it to be too thick either. And I know some people do not add a lot of agusi in here, or they just, you know, make it different. I've seen different people make it differently, just depends on the texture you like. I do, when I eat agusi, whenever I go to the African restaurants, I do like my agusi, the texture to be a little bit on the chunkier side, kind of like this. This is kind of how I like my agusi. All the restaurants that I've had it, this is pretty much how I've had it. So this is kind of the look that I was going for. I did want that texture. And so far it's looking exactly how I normally get it. All right. So I'm going to cover this up and let it cook on low for about 30 minutes. Because from what I've heard, if you do not let agusi cook properly, it can get you sick. You can get an upset stomach where your stomach is hurting. And come to think of it, that is probably what has happened to me in the past, because I've had agusi before in the past, like 2 different times. Well, I've had it more than that, but 2 times I can remember. I ate it and I had the TMI, but baby, your girl was in the bathroom. So that could be the reason why. Maybe they didn't cook it long enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up and let it cook on low or medium low for about 30 minutes. All right, so now it is time to make the fufu. So I did put about 8 cups of water in here. And I'm just going to slowly add this in here and mix it as I go. And the stove is currently off. I do not have it on. It's still pretty warm, so I did turn it off for now. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more. Honey, this is not for the weak. When I say this is a workout, this is a workout. You have to put some elbow grease in this bad boy. Because you have to keep mixing until it is smooth. So this is a process. And as you can see, there's still some lumps. I'm trying to get it as smooth as possible. All right, so this is as lump-free as it's gonna get, baby, because honey, I am tired, okay? I am tired. To my Africans who make this food on a daily, I give you props. I give you mad props, okay? Because this right here, I mean, the agusi wasn't hard. I mean, none of it is really hard, in my opinion. It's just that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's not a 1, 2, 3 meal, especially when it comes to this. This right here, baby, if you didn't have muscles before, you're gonna have muscles. So I'm trying to get it as lump free as possible. I mean, so far it looks pretty good. I'll let you see it close up. So far, yeah. Okay, so I think this is pretty much good enough. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up for 3 to 5 minutes. And once that is done, after the 3 to 5 minutes on low, I will do another good mixing and it should be ready. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the cover for 3 to 5 minutes on low temperature. All right, so now I am going to add the spinach. This is the final step. Okay, so I still have a few minutes left, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this back up. All right, so this is prepared. It is ready. Just gonna let you see how it looks. See if I can zoom in a little. Okay. So my agusi is ready. Tastes delicious because I did taste it just to see if it has enough flavor, enough seasoning. It tastes delicious. I'm proud of myself. I am proud of myself for my first time making this. I did a pretty good job. Okay, so this is another look of the agusi. Smells good, look good, tastes delicious. So yeah, I am done and I'm now going to plate it. All right guys, so I'm finally done and let me tell you, this was not a small task whatsoever. It was a lot. It was a lot of work, but everything came out perfect. When I tell you the taste is, it's on point. It is on point. So I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back. I'm proud of myself. All right, but let me go ahead and show you how it looks. This is how it looks. Hopefully you can see this close up. And I made the fufu. This is how it looks. Okay, so you already know what time it is. It is time for the taste test. So we're gonna taste it all together. I did taste a little just to make sure it has enough seasoning, but I'm going to taste it all together and give you my final review. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and taste on camera. So this is how the fufu looks. Still a little hot. And I'm gonna dump it And the agusi. Here you go. Take a bite. Open up. Open wide. Open wide. Don't be shy. Okay, so let's try this. Oop. Tastes good. Ooh, baby. Oh, this tastes good. I did that. Oh, I did that. Got a little bone. Okay, I want to give you a better look. Better look. All right, so I am not just saying this because I made it. I know I say this all the time, but I'm keeping it real. If it did not taste good, I would tell you that I could do better next time. But in this case, that's not the case. I mean, it literally tastes like the agusi that I buy when I go to the African restaurants. It tastes on point. It tastes delicious. When I say it's delicious, it is delicious. Now, what I will say, the fufu is good. The fufu is good, but I think maybe I may have added a little too much water. It's still good. It still tastes like fufu, but I feel like it could have been a little chewier because when I eat fufu, it's a little more chewier than this. However, it still tastes like fufu and it's still really, really good. So that's what I will say. However, it still tastes delicious. Tastes delicious. That's all well. I'm glad I know how to make it now because the African restaurants, they be taxing. They really be taxing and I never get a lot of food. They be taxing. So now that I know how to make it, whenever I have a taste for it, baby, I'm making this. Freaking delicious. It tastes so delicious. And when I tell you I love fufu and agusi, I don't know if a African restaurant gonna see me again, cause baby, this is giving African food. Now y'all come for me now, you know, if y'all feel like I could have done something a little different, you know, give me some good constructive criticism. You know, I'll take that, but you know, not too much with a negativity, because you know, baby, you know, your girl ain't African. However, I love African food and I wanted to try this. And I do, when I was watching videos, because I did watch a few videos on how to make this, and you know, different people did make it a little different. All of them weren't the same. They had different methods. So I just went with the one that I liked. But yeah, but everybody doesn't make it the same. And that's okay. It's the same shit. Ooh, excuse me. I'm about to cuss. It's the same thing with Haitian food. Everyone does not prepare or make Haitian food the same, or they'll just have like their little twist. But overall, baby, this is good. This is really, really good. All right, so you already know what time it is. I gotta take me a little big back break so I could devour this good food. So I'll be back. Let me enjoy this and I'll be back. All right, so we are at the end of the video. And baby, when I tell you that food was good, it was A1. It was delicious. Honestly, this is probably the best agusi soup that I've had ever. I've had it in the restaurants a few times, but of course, you know, the restaurants, they kind of, you know, water things down. I know a lot of times if you want the real deal, you have to eat it from someone who makes it in their home and not the restaurants, because sometimes the restaurants just, I guess because people, you know, different people taste buds, so they try not to do it the real traditional authentic way. So they kind of like Americanize it a little bit. And I think that's what it is in the restaurants. And it's the same thing too, even with, I'm Haitian, even with Haitian food, sometimes you eat it in the restaurants and it's like, it's not really given, but when you eat it from someone who prepares it at home, it's on a whole different level, So I ain't even trying to toot my own horn, but when I tell you this is by far the best from the flavors, because again, when I eat it at the restaurants, the flavor, I feel like it could use a little bit more spice, a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more flavor. But this, the seasoning was on point. Everything was delicious. Okay. When I tell you it was delicious, it was so freaking delicious. OMG. Now, once again, I'm not African, you know, but you know, we family, we're related, you know. So if, you know, any of my family, my Africans, in the comment section, you know, if it's something that I could have done differently, or you even recommend, because like I said, I did watch different videos and different people made it different, you know, their own little way, their own little twist. But I'm open. Let me know what I could have done differently. Let me know if I did a good job. Let me know if you think, especially for my first time, I did an awesome job. I want to know whether it's good, bad, but be nice, be polite. Because like I said, this is my first time, okay? And it was good. It was delicious, regardless of what anybody got to say, baby, it was good. It was good. My household loved it. They thought it was A1 because they've had African food as well. And they said the same thing that I said, as far as mine being more flavorful, you know? So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really, really, really appreciate it. Once again, in the comment section, let me know if this is something you have not done, if you will try it. And if you have tried it before, let me know. And once again, if you're African and you've made this before, let me know. What do you think? Do you think, you know, I passed, failed, whichever? Either way it goes, I loved it. It was good. But guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And we already know. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you do so. Like, comment, and subscribe. And also, do not forget to press your notification bell. So, baby, the next time another video come up, baby, you'll be the first to know. You feel me? Yeah. Once again, thank you so much. And until the next one, love ya. Bye.